Hello, and thanks for joining us.
Good evening. Here's tonight's top stories across the northwest.
All that you do, you reflect so very sincerely the philosophy of tender, loving care.
It's the hospice opened by Princess Diana, now being forced to slash services to the most needy in the community. Bosses at Queen's Court Hospice in Southport say it was either cut back or close.
We are getting to a point now where we cannot continue in the financial situation that we are, and if we do nothing, then we're going to close in 18 months approximately.
Caught on camera, the 81-year-old robber who brutally attacked a 95-year-old woman. Tonight, Edwin Morrison starts a jail sentence.
How Ricky Hatton's son Campbell says his dad would have continued boxing even if he'd known he'd suffer brain damage later in life.
Le chien bleu, son nom fait si fonder.
Not a trace of an Oldham accent for the Celine Dion tribute act, now learning to sing in French.
And we've had a really nasty band of quite heavy showery rain. It's been blustery too, but what happens once that rain clears? Have the full forecast for you in just a little bit.
Well, first tonight, the horrible irony of the hospice opened by Princess Diana that's been forced to drastically cut services to the kind of people she stood up for, those needing end-of-life care.
Queen's Court Hospice in Southport say a cash deficit is forcing them to cut the number of beds in their inpatient unit from 10 to 5, and that's to prevent an even greater calamity, the whole hospice closing within 18 months.
Well, earlier today, the medical director of Queen's Court, Dr. Claire Finnegan, was at Downing Street handing in a letter from a group of hospices. They're calling on the government to provide £112 million to safeguard the future of the hospice sector.
Well, we can cross live now to our correspondent Victoria Grimes, who's at Queen's Court. Vicky, the hospice movement are saying, make no mistake, this is a financial crisis.
That's absolutely right, Katie. That's exactly what they're saying. They're saying this is a crisis on a national level. 70% of hospices are in a similar position to Queen's Court here. We have got 6 out of 10 hospices already having made cuts or planning to make them. And here at Queen's Court, it's very difficult to overstate the importance, especially here in the community around the Southport area. So many lives have been touched by this place, and it's helped run partly by an army of volunteers, including Nettie here, who's on reception tonight. And let me just come in and show you guys something very, very special. All of these people here are part of those who help keep Queen's Court going. Doctors, nurses, volunteers, support staff. Some of them have come in tonight on their day off. Some of them have stayed after their shift because they all want to show solidarity and why this place is so important. I spent the day here yesterday. Here's just a little taste of how it helps some of those who need it so much.
Hi Paul, how are you today?
Do you know I feel okay today, thanks Paige.
Oh, that's good.
Paul Humphreys was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2024. He knows he can't survive it, but he wants to make the most of the time he has left. When he first came to Queen's Court, he was wheelchair-bound in excruciating pain. He said that first referral here changed everything.
Wow, how happy am I that that referral was made, because you can be in a bit of a dark place when you get a diagnosis like that, physically and mentally as well. And it's very hard to describe. But if ever there was a crutch that I could rely upon, it was Queen's Court. I had to look forward to coming here. It's like walking into a very pleasantly run hotel. Everyone saying, smiling and saying hello. At one stage I was on methadone to bring the pain level down. They fixed me up and made me feel good. It enables me to perhaps be me. I mean, I feel like I'm still a normal person.
Paul's one of more than 70,000 patients to be helped by Queen's Court. Opened 35 years ago by Princess Diana, it's vital to those needing end-of-life care.
She was visiting a hospice in Southport and the welcome was a warm one.
It's staffed by a team of dedicated specialists who are worried for its future.
If we do nothing, we will close in 18 months, and that's why we're taking these steps now to reduce our services to try and prevent that. What that will mean is that we will need to reduce our inpatient unit from 10 beds to 5 beds, so patients who are in hospital or at home with complex distressing symptom management will have less opportunity to access that service. Patients who are in hospital who don't want to die in a busy hospital ward or in an A&E department and they've got complex symptoms, they will have less opportunity to access a bed.
So this is potentially catastrophic for patients here and their families, isn't it?
Absolutely. It'll have a huge effect on the community, on patients, on families, but also on the wider healthcare system.
We are devastated, and we're devastated for the impact for the future, whether staff are able to stay in their jobs, and also for patients. Our worry is that patients will not have dignified care at the end of life.
More than just a hospice, Queen's Court is very much a part of the community. Nearly everyone who lives here will have some connection. An army of volunteers lend their support, like pianist Russell, all doing whatever they can. But without more funding, it won't be enough. And it's the patients of the future who may suffer.
What has Queen's Court meant to you, Paul?
You don't want sympathy. You just want, I suppose it's really crass to say, you just want love, really. And that's definitely the feeling I got when I came in here. They make you feel worthwhile. And it's funny, when I was diagnosed, how quickly the phone stops ringing. But cancer doesn't smell, and you can't catch it. And you just have to keep positive, I think, for however long it is until you pass. But Queen's Court will be part of that journey with me, big time.
Well, you've seen for yourselves just how vital what they do here is. Louise is with us again tonight. Louise, I mean, what happens now? What's the plan financially? For, you need to get this funding desperately, don't you, from the government?
Queen's Court Hospice is in financial crisis, and if we don't take any action now, we are going to close in 18 months. And therefore we've taken a really difficult decision to reduce our core services, to try and buy us time to lobby the government for fair, long-term, sustainable funding for the hospice sector, so we can keep our hospice in service for as long as possible.
And you're already so dependent on fundraising from the local community, which is amazing, but I mean, how important is that?
Our community has supported and championed us for the last 35 years, and we are so grateful for that. But this is an urgent call for action. We need them now more than ever to support Queen's Court Hospice.
Great, Louise, thank you so much. We'll just chat and talk to some of the wonderful people who work here, do an incredible job. Louise, I mean, you've come in, you're not meant to be working today. A lot of you, put your hands up if you're not meant to be working today or you're not meant to be here tonight. All of these guys have come in especially for this Granada Reports to tell you how important this is. Louisa.
It's such a vital service, the compassionate palliative service that we provide, not only for the patients, but for the patients' families and the wider community. It's a service that's so much needed and is vital, and everybody should have access to this service. We need your support and we need it now. Please support Queen's Court.
Yeah, and you can see how passionate all of you guys are about it. And somebody else who's very, very passionate about it is Paul, who you saw in my report there. Paul, thank you so much for coming to see us again today.
It's a pleasure.
You know better than anyone how important this is, and the fundraising, we were talking about that yesterday. What's your message to people?
Well, first of all, I was completely blown away when the news came through about the fundraising, the funding crisis that's there. And this is a facility, it's a jewel in the crown.
What's it brought to you?
It's brought peace, it's brought humility, and it's brought an added part of the family to me. Yeah. I feel I can call, everyone knows, smiles. Yeah. It's a fabulous place. And I spent 2 weeks here and I came out feeling fantastic.
Well, you look fantastic now.
Thank you.
You're doing so good to see you doing so well. And, you mentioned peace there. And Russ, one of the fantastic volunteers who you saw before, would like to play us something on the piano now.
with the team from Queen's Court Hospice over in Southport.
Well, next tonight, and an 81-year-old man's being jailed for brutally attacking a 95-year-old woman in her own home.
Yeah, the assault in Salford shocked the community, and that shock turned to near disbelief when Greater Manchester Police revealed the attacker was an elderly man.
Well, our correspondent Rob Smith is at Manchester Crown Court for us now, where the would-be robber Edwin Morrison was sentenced. And Rob, despite Morrison's age, this was a terrible attack, wasn't it?
Yeah, he ruined his victim's life, the court was told today, which makes it all the more difficult to comprehend just why Edwin Morrison, via his lawyer, claimed in mitigation there was somehow a, quote, altruistic act behind the motivation of why he did this. I'll tell you more about that in just a moment, but I will tell you right now that mitigation cut no ice with the judge who jailed him for 7 years. Morrison, who's 81 and from Worsley, was seen on CCTV that day scoping out homes he'd previously delivered prescriptions to before he retired. One had no one in, but one on this street in Salford had a 95-year-old woman at home, very frail woman at home, who used to tip him £2 when he brought her medications. He lied to her to get inside the door, saying it was about bin collections, and when he got in, he strangled her, bound her hands with cable ties and demanded money. She pleaded with him to stop, saying that she could not breathe, but he only stopped when her mobile hairdresser arrived and bravely intervened. The judge said today that Morrison's actions beggared belief. Detectives too are equally stunned.
The lady who was subject to this awful crime has shown great strength, resilience and tenacity as she has navigated the last few months, which has been inspiring to see. I'm glad we received today's result for her. It was a terrifying ordeal for the victim, and Edwin Morrison's actions of targeting a woman in her own home were truly shocking.
So having heard all of that, you may be asking, why was the word altruistic used at all in court? Well, Morrison's lawyer at a previous hearing said that his client was trying to get money together for his funeral costs. He has terminal cancer. There is still a GoFundMe page that he has live up on the internet as we speak tonight. Today, though, the story changed. It was said that he was trying to get money together for his partner, a suggestion that was towards the cost of a new kitchen, and then he planned to take his own life. His lawyer accepted, in his words, he was reaching for quotation marks in using the term altruistic act in mitigation. The judge did not accept that mitigation, saying that while it wasn't clear why Morrison did it, he was only thinking of himself. He'd ruined his victim's life, and he said that, bearing in mind his terminal diagnosis, it is likely that 7-year sentence means he'll die behind bars.
OK, Rob, many thanks.
On to more of the day's news now, and the Prime Minister has again insisted he's committed to introducing a Hillsborough law on the 37th anniversary of the disaster which caused the unlawful killing of 97 Liverpool fans. There was a minute's silence held outside Liverpool Town Hall at 3:06 this afternoon. Time to coincide with the moments the FA Cup tie against Nottingham Forest was halted. There was also a tribute last night at Liverpool's Champions League game at Anfield. At Prime Minister's questions this lunchtime, Liverpool MP Ian Byrne again called on the government to fulfil its promise to bring in the Hillsborough law in full.
It is within your power to take control of this process and make good on your promise to deliver this legislation. So will you commit today to ruling out any carve-out for security services and finally delivering a full Hillsborough law worthy of the name, or will they be failed by the state once again?
I am personally committed to working with the families to get this bill right. It is integral that their views are heard. We're discussing this precise issue with the families, and we'll make sure that he is fully updated. I reaffirm my commitment to delivering the legislation, to ensuring the duty of candour applies to all public servants.
Meanwhile, Everton Football Club have unveiled their permanent memorial to the Hillsborough disaster at their new ground. Representatives of the Hillsborough families were at Hill Dickinson Stadium, where the tribute to the 97 was revealed. Everton legend Graham Sharp was among those laying flowers on behalf of the club. Liverpool FC were represented by Sir Kenny Dalglish and Ian Rush, along with members of the board.
Well, next tonight, and when a baby is born prematurely, quite rightly, our main focus should be on the baby and the mum. But what about the dad?
Well, the father of 2 premature babies from Liverpool is leading calls for more support for dads in the same situation. Adam Wales' first child spent more than 4 months in hospital after he was born.
Adam's now written a book to help other fathers of sick and premature babies. James Webster reports.
I went to the hospital, and as soon as I got there, the doctor said, "We're going to deliver your baby." I didn't know of any children of that gestation living and being able to survive being born that early.
Adam's wife, Gemma, was just 26 weeks pregnant. She had preeclampsia.
Delivering Toby saved my wife's life, but seeing him, I was just like, how are you alive? It was really, really emotional.
During Toby's 142 days in hospital, much of it at Alderhay, he almost died several times. Adam wrote it all down in a diary, which he's now shared in a book.
Day 4, I was like, I need to just start writing everything down. You're literally on edge the whole time, and I felt quite alone as a dad.
Parents whose children need neonatal care are now entitled to more time off and statutory pay, though there are limitations. Some hospitals are recognising the need for more support for fathers. These dads are volunteers who visit this neonatal unit after their own children were born prematurely. They chat and they listen.
Obviously you don't have the answers for everyone's circumstances are completely different, but you can talk about your experiences and almost guide them as to that feeling how you are is absolutely normal. You know, it's not to be ashamed of.
Back home in Liverpool, Toby is now 8 and thriving with his younger sister, who was also born prematurely.
You're expected to be stoic and you're expected to sort of be strong. But yeah, it's difficult. And so anything that can help a dad understand the emotions that they're going to go through and understand that it's okay to not feel okay and it's important to talk about it gets my support.
James Webster reporting there. Time for sport now, and an interview with Ricky Hatton's son as plans are confirmed for a special tribute night to his dad. Hello, Chris.
Yeah, this is the first time that we've heard from Campbell Hatton since the inquest into Ricky's death. He believes his dad wouldn't have changed a thing about his boxing career. Last month, an inquest revealed the former world champion, who took his life last year at the age of 46, had suffered damage to his brain, likely due to a career spent in the ring. Campbell says boxers are aware of the risks and is even contemplating a return to the sport himself. He says his family is looking forward to a special tribute night in his dad's honour in June. He's been speaking exclusively to Mike Hall.
Campbell Hatton has been back in the gym all year, working on his physical and, more importantly, mental health. It's 18 months since his last fight, and he admits he's tempted by a comeback. That's despite the findings of an inquest into his dad's death. Ricky Hatton took his life in September. Last month, doctors revealed he had chronic traumatic encephalopathy, known as CTE.
To learn that your dad, in his mid-40s, was already suffering damage to his brain, presumably from all those years of boxing, has that made you think twice about climbing in the ring again?
It hasn't, no. We do know the risk going into it, and I think if we'd have been able to ask my dad that question now, I don't think he'd have done anything any different. Me and Matthew have both spoke about it behind the scenes leading up to the inquest, and we say if we had the choice to do anything different, would we? And we wouldn't have done. So I think maybe we could do a little bit more with regards to supporting fighters and educating, letting them know the risks, because it is something that does get overlooked as much as we're aware of it. So maybe there's more we could be doing, but I definitely wouldn't change anything.
Was it a shock to you to learn that?
No, it wasn't. I'd seen a decline in his memory for a couple of years, and it was definitely getting worse. So as much as it is shocking to have it read out to you and to find out, but when I look back at my account of him, I could definitely see the signs of it, yeah.
Campbell says getting fit and having focus has helped him deal with his dad's death and made him reevaluate his decision to walk away from boxing last year.
I'd be lying if I weren't saying it's something I'm considering. I'm just looking to make my dad proud, really, because I was doing a lot of things that he wouldn't have been so proud of, and I'm turning it round.
Ricky Hatton continues to be celebrated. On Saturday, Tyson Fury paid tribute at his comeback fight, sporting the Hitman's colours and emerging to Blue Moon.
It doesn't take much to set us off at the minute, but I was definitely choked up by that. I can't thank Tyson enough. He's a good mate of my dad's. They went on a nice little journey with Tyson's comeback together, so no, it meant a lot to us as a family.
And the tributes will continue. Tickets are now on sale for a star-studded celebration of Ricky's life on June the 7th. An evening for Ricky will be staged at Manchester's AO Arena, where he enjoyed some of his greatest triumphs.
I know it'll mean a lot to you and the family that events like this are happening, but will they be difficult events to attend?
Yeah, 100%. I think there'll be a lot of emotions. I think it'll be happy in some ways because of how much of a show it'll be for my dad, and sad in others because he's not here to see it, but all for a good cause as well. It's all in aid of mental health awareness and raising money, so sort of legacy lives on.
It will be another moment when the Hattons feel the love and support of Ricky's fans as they continue to mourn his loss. Mike Hall, ITV News in Hyde.
And there are more details about that evening for Ricky on our website. That's itv.com/Granada. On to football now, and Liverpool star Hugo Ekitike could miss the World Cup after a bad night turned worse at Anfield.
Where you could just feel if we can score now, this is going to become a special night. And but the future looks very bright for this team, for this club, because we've shown that we can compete with the champions of Europe in our stadium. To be the dominant team, not many teams can be dominant against Paris Saint-Germain and generate so many chances as we did. But yeah, chances is one thing, scoring is a second.
Not Liverpool's night then, but there was a huge win at the bottom of League Two for Barrow. They are now just a point away from climbing out of the relegation places after they scored in injury time to beat Oldham 3-2 last night. Accrington were beaten, but Wigan looked safe in League One after a 3-0 win which sent Rotherham down, while Bolton are almost sure of a playoff spot after their 5-1 win over Stevenage. Well, finally to the Lionesses and what could prove a crucial goal for Manchester City's Lauren Hemp. She scored the only goal in England's 1-0 win over world champion Spain at Wembley last night. The perfect start to their World Cup qualifying campaign. Only the group winners are guaranteed a place in Brazil. The game also marked a special milestone for Rochdale's Kira Walsh, who was marking her 100th appearance for England. Yeah, well done, Kira. One of only 15 players to do it for the women's team, which begs the question, and I've given you a bit of thinking time about this one, I must say. Can you name any of the other Lionesses that have got more than 100 caps?
Just so we're clear, Chris, you absolutely have not given us the answers to this, just so our viewers are fully aware.
I expect you to get this. I've got a list here somewhere. You give us your guesses.
I've got to say, Jill Scott's got to be up there, right?
Jill Scott is up there. She's second, 161 caps.
Steph Horton?
Steph Horton is up there as well, number 9, 121 appearances. Right at the top, Farrah Williams, used to play for Everton and Liverpool, 172 caps.
Wow, amazing. Chris, thank you so much.
Educational and entertaining, Chris Hall.
Now to a singer called January Butler from Oldham, who's more excited than most. Probably not as much as Gamal, that Celine Dion is returning to the stage after illness.
Yeah, January is one of the country's leading Celine tribute artists, and to mark the comeback of the Canadian legend, she's been working hard to sing en français.
Yeah, very fancy. Paul Crone, who is yet to master the King's English, went to see how Mademoiselle Butler was getting along.
Le ciel bleu, son nom de s'effondrer et la terre trop bien s'écouler.
Not a hint of an Oldham accent for singer January Butler as she performs in French the song which her idol Celine Dion sang at the Eiffel Tower to open the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. And as the Canadian icon is making a welcome return to the stage after illness, January is set to include the Edith Piaf hit L'Hymne d'Amour in her shows. Singing in French, well, c'est difficile, très difficile.
J'aurais décroché les nuits, j'aurais frôlé les fondus.
So you're kind of learning patterns of sounds more than because obviously when you sing a song, you're singing a story, you're telling a story. But when you don't actually speak French, you're literally like putting patterns of sounds in a certain order, obviously.
Where troubles smell like raindrops.
You may remember January started her showbiz career as a teenager back in 2007, starring in the Granada Report's Tour of Talent. Today, she's a popular Celine Dion tribute act, and to put it mildly, she's a big fan.
To come back the way she has, I think everybody are just full of goosebumps at the moment. You know, we're just so excited for her to return.
It somehow doesn't matter if you don't understand French. All you need to know about the song is it's about love.
J'aurais jusqu'au bout le monde, j'aurais fait les deux dents blanches.
When you're on stage, are you January Butler or Celine Dion?
Well, you know, Paul, I don't think that you could put on a show.
Well, there's your answer. January is currently touring the country with her show. As we say, bon chance. Paul Crone, ITV News.
Qui sait?
Wow. A hard act to follow. Celine would be very proud of you, January. You're very good at singing songs in Spanish. What's that Christmassy song you always sing?
Feliz Navidad. Well, it's not Christmassy now, is it? Here's James with the forecast.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello there, good evening. It's been a bit of a wet one, quite blustery and lots of showers. We've got a bit more of that sort of weather for the rest of the week. It's going to stay quite mild though in spite of that. The good news is some settled weather on the way. We've had that rain pushing through, lots of showers tucked in behind. Tomorrow could be a bit of a messy affair with some showers just lining up with these isobars here. And then we see the next system lining up for Friday and it's almost identical to what we've had today. But as far as overnight goes, still a few showers to push through, one or two sharp ones. They could be quite blustery as those showers move through. Generally easing off towards the end of the night though. Temperatures just dipping into high single digits, so by no means chilly, and that's in part because of the blustery breeze. So Thursday, some bright spells, some sunny spells. The issue is the showers. Most of us might actually get away with the dry day, but if you start getting showers, there's a danger that you'll keep getting them, and that's just because of the source of the breeze. Temperatures though, in spite of all of that, it's actually looking pretty mild. Highs of 14 to 16 Celsius, so it's a good 2 or 3 degrees up on where we'd expect at this time of year. Friday, another little system crosses us, and then as we head into the weekend, high pressure really starts to dominate. What that means in terms of detail: Friday, some rain around, turning to showers, some bright spells, again a bit breezy, 16 Celsius though. Because it's a cold front, we get a bit of a dip in temperatures on Saturday. Sunny spells with just 1 or 2 scattered light showers, and then Sunday, pleasantly sunny, pleasantly mild, and not too breezy either.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
What's everyone worried about?